Imagine a quiet trailer park in Fostoria, Ohio. It's the kind of place where neighbors know each other, and the sounds of daily life are supposed to be comforting. Inside one of those homes lived a 25-year-old Joseph Bonito, a young father. To anyone looking in, he was just another dad figuring out how to handle a new baby. But behind his front door, a horrifying secret was growing. The secret finally exploded in a frantic 911 call, one that would expose the massive gap between the ordinary young man he appeared to be and the monster he really was. On February 11th of 2025, Joseph picked up the phone and told a dispatcher his 4-month-old son, Carson, wasn't breathing.
My baby's not responding. He's white, and I don't know what's wrong.
Okay, what's the address?
I went to take a nap.
You said
Go get him up, and he just wasn't responding.
okay.
But what investigators would soon uncover wasn't a sudden medical tragedy. It was a brutal pattern of abuse that ended with an unbelievable act of violence. This is a story of the warning signs that were missed, the potential for systematic failure, and the heartbreaking loss of a life that had only just begun. At 11:46 in the morning, the calm of an ordinary Tuesday was shattered by a call to Wood County Dispatch. The voice on the line was Joseph Bonito. He told the dispatcher, "My baby is not responding." He claimed his son looked white and that he last checked on him about 3 hours before, during a feeding. To the dispatcher, his explanation was simple and sounded desperate. "I don't know what's wrong." First responders raced to the 1500 block of North County Line Street, where they found the tiny, lifeless body of Carson Bonito. They did everything they could, rushing to the Pro Medica Fostoria Community Hospital. But it was too late. Little Carson, at just 4 months old and 14 days old, was pronounced dead. And as the shock of the baby's death began to settle, a much darker reality started to creep in. This was no accident. The clues were written all over Carson's small body, and they told a story of unimaginable pain. As detectives from the Fostoria Police Department and caseworkers from Wood County Children's Services began their investigation, the story Joseph Bonito was telling quickly fell apart. An autopsy would confirm their worst fears. Carson's death wasn't from natural causes. It was a homicide. The baby had suffered injuries so severe they could only be the result of extreme violent trauma. And it wasn't a one-time event. Not a single moment lost. Not a single moment of losing control. The coroner found that Carson had numerous other injuries, clear signs of prior abuse. The indictment filed against his father would later list the offensive dates as occurring between September 28th of 2024 and February 11th of 2025. A time frame that covered the entirety of Carson's short life. Fostoria Police Chief Gabe Wedge didn't mince words when he spoke to the media. He described what happened to Carson as a shaken baby type incident with possibly some squeezing of the baby. Investigators believe Bonito had intentionally and violently shaken and squeezed his infant son, and that those actions directly caused his death. The image of a panicked father making a 911 call was completely erased, replaced by the chilling portrait of a man who had systematically brutalized his own child. Bonito, who had no prior criminal records with Fostoria police, was arrested and charged with murder and endangering children. He was taken to the Wood County Jail, where his bond was eventually set at $500,000, ensuring the monster, who had been hiding in that Ohio trailer park, would remain in a cage.
So Carson's been transported. Okay, he's going to go up to Lucas County, and that process, kind of helping us answer those questions, is going to start. Okay, this is Wood County Job and Family Services. I'll let her introduce herself.
Nice to meet you. I'll be your caseworker for the next 30 to 45 days or so. Could be longer, but
I'll just give you more information when we get more into it. But I did have a couple questions regarding, you have another child?
Yes. My alarm normally goes off at 5:30, but I actually woke up at 5 this morning. I started getting ready for work. I went and got dressed and got coffee and got my lunch around. He woke up around 6 and he's passing out in the living room. And I got him out and changed his diaper and gave him a bottle. And he was smiling at me. He was doing pretty good. And then he laid back down around 6:10, 6:15. Didn't really fuss too much about it. He was extremely fussy yesterday. And he kept falling asleep a lot yesterday, like he was ill. I thought he was just teething. But I ended up leaving the house at 6:20, like I do every morning. And that's when I go to work. And they're around 7. And from then on, I was working.
Okay. Tell me about Joey as a dad. How's Joey do as a dad?
Excellent. He's a very good dad. He did amazing with our first son. We have had a little bit of problems with our first son being throwing his toys at Carson.
Okay.
And so we did have to take a lot of his harder toys away.
Sure.
So bruising actually could be from that, but he was getting bruises on his face.
Morning, buddy. This is our little conference room here, Joey. What time did you wake him up this morning?
It was around 5:36, because that's when my wife has to wake up around work and get ready.
So you fed him a bottle 5:36?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, then what happened?
And I sat him on my lap and I burped him. He burped a few times for me.
Show me how you burp him.
I take him, I put him right, because it's on a comfortable way for him. I
Sure.
set him down on my lap right here,
Okay.
and I lightly put my hands around him and I rock slowly.
Okay. So is he outward facing or inward facing?
Outward.
Outward facing.
Outward. Yeah. Outward.
So you're rocking like this?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah, gently though.
yeah, yeah.
I messaged my wife. That's when I wasn't I didn't get up to actually get him quite yet. That's
Okay.
when I messaged her to let her know, hey, I'm getting up and I'm going to get him fed.
Okay. Okay.
And that's when I saw him like that. I took him out of the crib. I put him on the couch and I tried to do chest compressions on him.
Okay. So describe to me what you saw when you looked in the crib.
When I looked in the crib, there was, I don't know what it was, there's brown on his face.
Okay.
And he was pale.
Was the pillow in the crib?
I don't think so. It was
Okay.
because the doctors have also told us they wanted
Sure.
to not do that because
Yeah.
he had like a bald spot on the back of his head
From laying on his
laying
back.
on it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
we
bad.
took that out.
Okay.
Just feel like I failed as a father.
I don't think that's the case, man. I'm a dad too, Joey, and these things can happen to anybody.
I tried so hard to save him.
Did you notice any bruising on Carson, on his chest or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Not
He
that.
did have some small bruising on his chest.
Okay.
Do you have any idea where that could have came from or anything like that?
That could have been from his brother grabbing him, to be fair, because he gets grabby.
Okay.
And he goes, when he grabs, he goes like,
He's like pinching.
yeah, he pinches really hard.
Okay. Okay. So the doctors explained that obviously they had some concern with the bruising.
Yeah.
But their larger concern was that there were some rib fractures, and they were older rib fractures. So there were fractures that had occurred but then started to heal, so it's not anything recent.
Sometimes when I go to pick them up, I sometimes don't realize I'm picking them up a little hard. So that might have been from me picking them up a little too hard sometimes, and I don't mean to do it.
Okay.
It's a genuine mistake.
Sure. Okay. So they also noticed a collapsed lung. Had you any concern about his breathing or anything like that?
His lungs been really raspy.
Okay.
The past, I think it's been a few months, he's been really raspy.
When do you think the last time was that you might have grabbed him up a little?
It might have been yesterday by accident.
Okay.
Because I was a little drowsy and didn't realize.
Okay.
He was all smiles this morning when my wife got up, got ready for work, and I got him fed around that time. He was all smiles. He was cooing, laughing at us.
Joseph, if you didn't pick him up, it's okay to tell me that too. If he was in that crib the whole time from when she left to when we got there, that's okay too. It doesn't mean that you're a bad dad. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. But these are the things I gotta know, because the way his body was, I think he had been there a while. I think he had been there longer than what you're telling me.
I might have.
Just it's okay. But you gotta tell me, man. I gotta know these things.
He might have been laying there for a minute while I was asleep, but like I said, I didn't even know.
How would you know? So between 6:20 and when we got there at 11, or when you found him at 11:44, you can't tell me for sure that he was alive in there.
I'm not even for sure, to be honest with you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
I'm not asking you to. It's okay. If you haven't gotten any sleep and the baby's quiet and resting, I'm not doing anything different as a dad.
I know, but I just feel like I failed.
No failure here, man. Definitely not a failure. Hey, Joey, we got to check for just a second. Okay, so I talked with our prosecutor's office, and with everything that's going on, we are going to charge you tonight. You're going to have to spend a little time in jail. Okay? So I'm working on what they're going to charge you with, but they're looking at a child endangerment for right now. So we're going to have
Covert off.
Okay? And we're going to end up going to Wood County tonight. Okay? All right, just go ahead and put your hands behind your back. Officer Jason's going to handle that part.
Put them together like you're praying?
Yeah. You got cigarettes with you? You got cigarettes with you? Okay. Did she have something you can smoke? Okay.
Not too tight?
I'll
This
try to
one's...
find a cigarette.
Hold on, let me loosen this one a little bit. This one's too tight.
Just stay here. You good?
Yeah. Do you want your jacket going with this?
Yeah.
Just want to throw it right over your shoulders, alright? We're just going to wait in here until the detective tells us otherwise. Just step over here. So if you want to step over here so we don't get anybody's way.
If you want to go that way with him, just to the end of the hallway, I'm going to take them around and take them back up to the lobby. And then we can just book him in back here.
You want me to stand over there then?
Yeah, just go to the end of the hall for a minute.
that a little better?
Yeah, I'll be able to get a cigarette, right? I'm not trying to bother you.
No, I was gonna say, me personally, I don't know. I don't know if the detective's doing that right now.
One of them's a child endangerment, and because it resulted in Carson's death, the other one's a murder charge. Okay. So those are the two charges. So one's an F2 and the other one's an unclassified felony. So that's where we're at. These are your copies. Okay. So I'll give them to you and you can look at them.
How that happened to me.
You're gonna go to Wood County tonight, okay? And then you'll have an arraignment tomorrow. So
Is there any way I can talk to my wife or anything?
you'll be able to make calls at the jail. Officer Miller's gonna take you to the jail. and
Okay.
Make calls from the jail.
Did you ever get my nicotine baby?
No, they didn't have it. Sorry, man. We gotta quit anyway, so now's a good time. Do me a favor, set the paper on the table, put your hands behind your back for me. Put them together like you're praying. Just put them together just like that. Hold tight just for a second here. And give me another second, let me get the locks from here real quick. Alright, you can go ahead and step on out here. Just gonna walk right over by this red door here. Go ahead right on in here. And we're just gonna hang out right about here.
In the Wood County Common Pleas Court, the legal process got underway. Joseph Bonito initially pled not guilty to a grand jury indictment for murder, felonious assault, and child endangering. Given the horrific nature of the crime, the court ordered a competency evaluation to see if Bonito was even fit to stand trial. For months, the case moved through the system, but as the trial date got closer, the strategy changed. Facing a mountain of damning evidence, the autopsy report, the signs of previous abuse, and his own admissions to the police, Bonito's defense team struck a plea deal in October of 2025. He pled guilty to involuntary manslaughter, a first-degree felony, along with child endangering and 2 counts of felonious assault. This kind of deal is common. Though often controversial, legal tactic by getting a defendant to plead guilty to slightly lesser charges. Prosecutors secure a guaranteed conviction and avoid the risk of losing a jury trial. The involuntary part of the manslaughter charge doesn't mean the act was an accident. It means the death happened while he was committing another felony in this case. Felonious assault and child abuse. He may not have started that day with the specific intent to kill his son, but his violent criminal actions are what caused his death. The plea deal guaranteed Bonito wouldn't walk free, and the recommendation was for a prison sentence that would keep him locked away for decades. When it was his turn to speak at sentencing, Joseph Bonito said nothing. His attorney offered a hollow statement, claiming his client had accepted responsibility and felt remorse. But the true weight of Bonito's actions wasn't found in his silence. It was in the voice of the woman whose world he had shattered. Carson's mother, Emma Schultz, in a victim impact statement that left the courtroom reeling. Emma painted a picture of the little boy the world would never get to know. I will remember how happy he was, and how his handsome smile would light up an entire room, she said. Her words thick with pain. An obituary for Carson described him as a little chatterbox who was just learning to coo, a baby with an infectious smile. Emma's statement was a devastating list of stolen moments. She talked about how she would never see her son crawl, take his first steps, or say his first words. She would never see him grow into the man he should have been. He deserved a lot more time than he was given, she told the judge. I truly felt I lost everything. I found beautiful in this world. She spoke of the tragedy's ripple effect, how it had turned the lives of her other children, her parents, and her siblings upside down in the worst way. Her pain was raw. Open wound. This feeling that a piece of me is missing, we will never go away, she stated. I don't understand, and I likely never will. Judge Mary Molly Mack listened, then delivered the sentence. Acknowledging the death of an infant, an indication of abuse of that child, she handed down a punishment that reflected the gravity of the crime. Bonito was sentenced to a total of 25 to 31 and a half years in a state prison, with the sentences for each charge running consecutively, one after the other. In the aftermath, Fostoria Police Chief Gabe Wedge made a public plea, hoping to use this horrific case to prevent the next one. He highlighted the critical red flags of infant abuse, signs that can be subtle, but are unmistakable if you know what to look for. He pointed out that infants, especially babies only a few months old, don't injure themselves in ways that cause serious harm. The most obvious sign is marks on the body. An unexplained bruise, burns, or cuts on a baby are an immediate cause for an alarm. Another subtle sign can be a baby who cries whenever they're held or touched in a certain way, which could point to painful internal injuries you can't see. One of the most critical signs often seen in cases of violent shaking or suffocation is called petechiae Ike. These are the tiny pinpoint red dots that can appear on the skin, especially around the face or in the eyes. They are caused by a sudden spike in blood pressure from the trauma of a violent shaking or a lack of oxygen. Chief Wedge's message was blunt and clear. When you're seeing bruises and weird injuries that don't fit, it's better to see something, say something. He laminated that in too many of these tragic cases. People around the children may have noticed something was off but hesitated to report it. Maybe because they were afraid of being wrong or getting involved. His message is a call to action for all of us. An infant can't speak for themselves. They can't tell anyone that they're being hurt. They are completely dependent on the adults in their world to be their voice. The story of Carson Bonito is about a monster, but it's also about a system's potential to fail and a community's missed chance to intervene. While there's no public record of anyone reporting prior abuse in this case, it raised broader, uncomfortable questions. How can we better support new parents who feel overwhelmed and isolated? How do we make it easier for friends, family, or neighbors to make that crucial call to Child Protective Services? Joseph Bonito will be in prison for at least the next 25 years. But for Carson, justice feels incomplete. It can't bring back his smile or give him back the future that was stolen. The only real justice we can offer is to learn from this. It's about creating a world where a baby's cry is met with patience instead of violence. It's about building communities where the plea to see something, say something, isn't just a slogan but a responsibility we all share. What do you think? Is this a 25-year minimum sentence enough for a crime like this? And what can we as a society do to better protect the most vulnerable among us? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If this story has moved you, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more cases that demand our attention. Every share helps raise awareness and keeps the conversation going, so that victims like Carson Bonito are never forgotten.